Once again, we are joined by Olly, gracing us with his presence and no doubt his opinions. Hello, BookTube. You gonna help with the haul, or you gonna complain? We seem to be getting the silent treatment this evening. Can I have the books, or are you gonna sniff them all? I love to read a book and be absorbed in words to escape. Hi everybody, so I am quite an excited reader this evening because a certain book order from Better World Books arrived today, and it contains things of joy and wonder and amazement. Let's get into the haul! Olly's sitting right here, so he's going to be my assistant. You may occasionally see a head or a fluffy tail. So this haul comprises entirely of fantasy and fairy tale anthologies, which, as you know, I adore. I placed this particular order on Better World Books because a lot of these titles are out of print and incredibly hard to find, and I don't like to use books because it's incredibly expensive if you live in Australia. Both the prices of the books themselves, especially if converted to Australian currency, and then the shipping costs, which are always ridiculously disgusting. So yeah, Better World Books does free shipping, and the prices I find are just a lot better. And I've been able to find some really fantastic titles that I've wanted for quite some time, and I'm so thrilled to have them. I'll save the two that I find personally the most exciting till last, but all of the titles in this particular haul are brilliant. Okay, so we have this lovely paperback edition of Happily Ever After, Fairy Tales Retold, and this features such folks as Gregory Maguire, Holly Black, Neil Gaiman, Charles DeLint, Susanna Clarke, Garth Nix, Karen Joy Fowler, so I'm really keen to read the stories that are in here, especially since Susanna Clarke has something in here, and I don't believe it's a story that's contained in The Ladies of Grace Adieu, which is her short story collection, so I'm especially excited to read her contribution. This book is laid out in a quite beautiful fashion because the opening page of each individual story has this lovely little palette going on there, and I believe it also includes an explanation as to why the author chose that fairy tale to retell, and I love that. Any anthologies that include author's notes like that make me really happy. Furthering my collection of Terry Windling and Ellen Datlow fairy tale anthologies, I've got Troll's Eye View. This is one of their YA-based collections, but I'm still quite keen to give it a read. Again, there are awesome folks in here. Catherine M. Valente's in here, Jane Yolen's in here, Ellen Kushner's in here, of course Neil Gaiman's in here because he's in every fairy tale anthology. But yeah, happy to have this one, building up my collection. I have this anthology of just speculative fiction in general, so it's fantasy and science fiction, and it's called Other Worlds Than These. And there are stories by folks like Orson Scott Card, George R.R. Martin, Ursula Le Guin, Carrie Vaughan, Joyce Carol Oates, and there's a foreword by Lev Grossman, and I believe he selected most of the tales in this anthology. So this one covers a wider variety of subgenres, but I'm really keen to give these ones a read too. More in my Terry Windling and Ellen Datlow collection. I've got The Green Man, Tales from the Mythic Forest, and these deal with stories that focus on the mythic man who lives in the forest, usually a wise old man who may come across as a bit creepy but can offer some good advice or perhaps some magical remedies to things, and that's the folklore character that these tales centre around. I got Wizards, Magical Tales from the Masters of Modern Fantasy. Again, folks like Neil Gaiman and Garth Nix are in here, but I do like Wizards as a fantasy figure, and I'm sure I will enjoy reading stories centering around wizards. It just sounds like fun. I especially wanted to get this collection because Patricia A. McKillop has a short story in here, and I really would like to get into her fantasy novels because they all sound very interesting and have beautiful cover art. And finally getting to the two anthologies I was the most extra excited for. I got the Fairy Real Tales from the Twilight Realm. I've only wanted this for like 5 years and now I have it, and wow! Again, Ellen Datlow and Terry Windling, and it's about fairies and fae, and wow! I love fairies and fae! I always have, and I'm just so very happy to have this. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Anyway, and travelling on from that, I have Forbidden Journeys, Fairy Tales and Fantasies by Victorian Women Writers. What? This is both a collection of essays concerning the writings of women who were crafting folklore and fairy tales and fantasy stories for children in the 19th century, and obviously weren't getting any real literary or public attention for their work, because of course the 19th century children's literature scene is dominated by folks like J.M. Barrie and Lewis Carroll. So this features essays concerning all the studies into this underground emergence of writing for children by female authors. Hello, Olly. Yes, thank you. That's a lovely contribution. Thank you very much. But it also features the stories themselves that these women were writing, and I'm so keen to encounter these tales. Just so keen. Thank you for biting my hand. Yep. Why? Oh, now I'm getting kisses. He's so fickle. He's just so fickle with his emotions. So this book just meets both my feminist yearnings and my love of fairy tales and folklore, and I'm so very, very excited. I first heard about this particular collection in the introduction by Terry Windling in Queen Victoria's Book of Spells. So everything links together in this circular fashion, and all the titles lead to the other titles, and it's just brilliant. So that was my rather emotional Better World Books haul featuring Olly attacking my hand. And best wishes to all of you. Do let me know if you are interested in any of these titles. I know I am. Bye from me, and bye from... Seriously? And bye from Olly. Happy reading. Really? Really? How long are we gonna stay? Like,